What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happened in the scale world of RC over the past week. If you enjoyed the Scale News Update, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics. First this week, let's talk about King of the Hammers. King of the Hammers is the wildest off-road race with both desert and rock racing combined into one really difficult course. Now, it's a week long of racing at this point with all kinds of different classes, but it ends with the big race, the 4400 class, or the Ultra 4 cars that we so often talk about. And on last Saturday, that race happened with some great coverage. If you've never seen King of the Hammers, it's worth going and watching a little bit of the coverage. Absolutely some great inspiration if you're into this type of RC, seeing vehicles from all different classes and how they build these things to be the toughest vehicles in four-wheel drive off-road. But while at King of the Hammers, Axial announced and showed a limited edition release of the Axial RR10 Bomber. Now, the RR10 Bomber, modeled directly after one of the Bomber fabrication cars driven by Randy Slauson, a three-time winner of King of the Hammers. And this limited edition, 1,000 of them are being made. It's got a King of the Hammers livery printed on the body with the past winners all displayed on the roof panel. So a cool little option, a little bit of memorabilia, a 1,000 item limited release. Price pretty similar to the normal version. There was that deal going on for Bombers over the last week, but that's gone now. However, if you're interested, you can pick up this one. Again, available now, only 1,000 available, so I don't expect that these will last all that long. They were available out on the lake bed, and then I assume whatever is left after which ones were bought out there are now available on the Horizon website. I've linked to those in the description below. You can go check those out, see the graphics, and pick one up if you're interested. And speaking of Horizon, it looks like they're going to be sponsoring some NASCAR events again this year. Looks like they've got a next-gen car as well as the Craftsman truck or truck series, whatever it's called now. Looks like they're doing some of that. They did, I think, 1 or 2 races last year. Not sure how many they're doing this year, if they're doing a full long sponsorship, but if you're a fan of that series, it'd be cool to see some familiar names with Horizon and Arrma displayed on those vehicles. This week, I want to thank Send Cut Send again for sponsoring this Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with Send Cut Send, they're a website where you can go upload files of many different formats, from regular CAD to simple images or Illustrator type files. Upload them, you can get instant quotes, tons of different materials, and super fast turnaround with really good pricing. If you have something you think you may need cut and you have the ability to get a file over to them for an instant quote, it's worth it. You may be really surprised at the pricing. Tons of materials, steels, aluminum, stainless, titanium, carbon fiber, acrylic. They also have a simple online part builder in case you kind of know what you need, but you don't have a way to draw a file. They've got a system on there as well. Check it out, sendcutsend.com. And again, thanks to them for sponsoring this month of the Scale News Update. Yesterday, Associated announced a new vehicle, the APEX2 Ford licensed Hoonigan F100. This is a new platform for Associated. They had an Apex platform way back in the past. Now with this one, they're releasing it as the APEX2. It is a tub chassis style, 1/10 scale on-road vehicle. A little bit of scale detail in there. The body itself, modeled after the Hoonitruck, this thing looks really good. I think they did a good job overall capturing the style of the Hoonigan vehicle. If you're a fan of that full-size version, probably going to like the styling of this one. It's got some hard-molded plastic details as well for the grille, the turbos, intake, as well as a rear spoiler. This is a brushed RTR, and the cost is coming in at $389. So a little bit more expensive for a brushed RTR compared to some of the competition. But again, if you really like the style, Hoonitruck licensed with Ford as well. They did a good job. I like what they did here. Hopefully some of you guys do as well. And if you do, you can order it now. And also for your Team Associated DR10 owners, Associated also released a Metal Gear set for the DR10 transmission. So if you're looking to bulletproof that stock transmission in the DR10, here's a quick one-click buy option to do so. And if you, like many of us, have a bunch of RC vehicles laying around, maybe you'd be interested in one of these two new options from RC Pro Rack. Both are meant to be hung on the wall to get your vehicles off of the bench, maybe give you a little bit more storage than you had previously, but also the Elite setup can be converted into a desktop stand. Those two options are available now, as well as some other accessories that they've got listed as well. Website's fairly new, company's fairly new. Check them out, see if anything trips your trigger. Also yesterday on the Vanquish Products website, a pre-order for the VS410 Phoenix Portal went live. It states that if you get your pre-order in, you're guaranteed one on the next batch. The first batch of them sold out very quickly. The next ones are said to be expected to ship in February. So here's your chance. Get in on that. Just guarantee yourself a spot if you're interested. Of course, if you order from another dealer or distributor, as long as they have all of their orders in, your order likely to ship just after they receive theirs, as long as they have all of their orders in as well. But if you've been looking for one of those kits, looks like the expected date is in February. And also a new release from Vanquish yesterday is the new Skarn beadlock ring. These are a highly detailed beadlock ring with a lot of little pockets and details around the outside of the ring, available in all of the colors Vanquish typically offers. These are for the 1.9 beadlocks. These are also an IFR ready beadlock. So if you want to add any of the inner detail rings as well, these are ready for that. Next, Redcat's releasing a dual servo mount for the 64 platform. The 64 was the first lowrider that Redcat offered, and it had a single servo up front that controlled both of the front arms. That gave it that ability to hop the front end up, but it didn't give you the ability to control each of the front wheels independently. So if you wanted to do things like, three-wheel motion or whatever else you do with lowriders like that, now you have the option. If you still want it to hop, or just react similarly in general, you need to install one of the same Reefs servos as comes in the vehicle. So note that if you pick up this mount, you should pick up a Reefs servo that matches the one that came in the vehicle as well. I'll link to that in the description below. Tomorrow, Wednesday, the next episode of Road to Scale Nationals will come up. And in this week, it's a release from me, where you'll see my progress that's been made on my vehicles as we prepare for our trip to Leesburg, Alabama for the 2022 SORCA Scale Nationals. Looking forward to this whole series, how everything's gone. It's been a lot of fun, really enjoying the challenge of getting these vehicles ready to go. Check that out. I'll link to the last episode of that series in the description below. You can go catch up on those episodes before the new one comes out. And speaking of events, if you're in SoCal, RCX is back. RCX is the big RC Expo, RCX. You know how that goes. Anyway, it's coming back March 26th through the 27th in Pomona, California. It was going to come back last year. I think that it didn't happen with all of the events still getting canceled, especially in Southern California, but looks like this year it's gonna happen. If you live in the area, I can't imagine why it wouldn't be a must-do activity, but something in case you haven't seen it, I'll link to the website for RCX in the description below. You can see all the details that they have currently posted. Last week we were talking about some deals that were happening. This week, Traxxas has announced some new spring deals on some of their best-selling items. These deals happen in a number of price ranges with a number of different discount numbers. You can get these also at your local hobby shops, so that's important to know. You don't have to online shop for these if you don't want. You can claim these same deals at your local shops as well. Nice bonus if you're one of those people that likes to go in and get a feel for the products before you buy it. Worth checking out. I'll link to all of the details of what they've got going on in the sale in the description below. It's on the Traxxas website as well, and hopefully any of your local Traxxas reps have that information available for you also. For those of you interested in the competition side of rock crawling, or even the competition scale side of rock crawling, Dlux has offered a new machined transmission specifically made for people who are going to be pairing it with portal axles. Portals often have a lot more reduction in the axles than standard axles, so you don't need as much in the transmission. And this takes advantage of that. Geared specifically towards needing less reduction. This is a compact little package you can pick up. This is specifically made to bolt into the Dlux Sporty chassis, but if you're not going to use it in that application, with some custom work, you can probably fit it into many of the flat rail type chassis that you may be working on already. It's worth checking out, and you may have guessed it, but it's linked in the description below. Last week, Losi announced the second release of their 22S no prep drag platform with a new Ford drag truck body on it. It'll be available in two colors, one yellow, one black. The yellow one really pops though. And again, the Camaro looked great, proportion, detail, all that. And this truck, 2 Ford truck releases in 1 week, but this one again, looks really good. I think they did a great job on the body. No prep cars don't always have great looking bodies, so this one looks like another winner. There isn't a ton of body variety available in the RTR vehicle no prep world, so cool to see another option. And then yet another Ford being announced last week. Tamiya, we talked about their teasers coming last week and they Tamiya'd us, but the CC02 is now going to become available with a new style Ford Bronco body on top, but it is coming in the 2-door Bronco body variety. So one that we don't see as often. It's Tamiya coming on the CC02, which is a solid axle platform, which the Bronco is an IFS, where they could have used the CC01, I guess, and then put the body on that with a more appropriate suspension, but it's Tamiya. They do Tamiya things, and they did Tamiya things last week. But also alongside of that new Bronco release, they did also release a new XV02 Pro chassis kit. This is their second rally specific kit that they've made. They got away from the previous drivetrain style of the XV01 and they went with a new shaft driven setup with a mid motor placement. Again, a lot of shielding for debris to try and keep it good and covered up. The XV01 was a popular platform. XV02 likely to be a hit as well with the 1/10 rally car scene. If you thought you needed one before, you definitely need one now. And then this week is the 100th episode of Livestream Takeover with Matt from the Scale Builders Guild and myself. 100 weeks in a row we've been doing that show. Haven't missed one. It's a lot of shows, but every one of them I've enjoyed. So come join us for the 100th show this Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. But that does it for this week's news topics. For this week's question, I ask you guys often, what's your favorite this or favorite that? But today, I want to know, what's your least favorite RC you've ever owned and why? Let's hear it. What was your horror story, or why did you dislike something so much? Put it in the comments below. I love reading them. Last week had some great comments. Really looking forward to this week as always. So with that, if you enjoyed the Scale News Update, hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already, and hit the notification bell so you see the videos as soon as they get uploaded. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.